Hi, this is Pete Ekman with RoboZone Podcast. We are exhausted. I'm just saying. This is the Monday after week one. We have some of our favorite podcast interviewees here today. But first of all, we're going to check in with John. John from Kettering University. How you doing, John?
It was awesome. I'll tell you what, even though you're dead tired and everything, to go through what we did after such a long period and see all those kids just having a riot, and relearning how to dance and stuff like that. And even the guy from I forget, was it Patriot ambulance, was out there dancing with the kids. So it was really, really fun. And I was dead. And Sunday I went back into the first center because other teams were coming in and getting ready for week two. So, here we go again. But I'll tell you what, I wouldn't have it any other way for what we do.
So we're going to keep this podcast at 30 to 40 minutes, like I was told. I was instructed or voluntold. I don't know if you guys remember what Navy stands for. Never again volunteer yourself for anything. Just put the acronym out there because we live in acronym soup. So let's get to our introductions. First up, we got Kyle Hughes from 27. How you doing, Kyle?
I'm also exhausted, but I'm exhilarated and I got into the tournament on Thursday night, Friday, thinking, why do I do this? I'm so out of it. Why am I doing this? And then at some point, midday Friday, it rolled into, I know why I do this. This is amazing. And it just got better all weekend long. It just got better. And I'm so excited that we're back in person.
Next up, we have Don Ridge from 1506. How you doing, Don?
I'm doing well. I must have actually gotten some sleep at some point over the weekend. So I'm feeling really good.
And in the rear, we have some team members from Air Code 404, which we competed with at Calvin University over the weekend. How you guys doing, 404?
Hello, we're doing pretty good. How are you?
Good. Always good to have students on because you guys have a massive team. Just saying that because I'm slightly jealous. And we compete together. So let's talk about Rapid React. Okay. I heard you guys took home a blue banner, huh?
I was going to put it up behind me, but I thought that would be boasting a bit too much.
What would Kyle do? It's what would Woody do? Right.
And therefore it's not standing behind me. It was an amazing weekend. Yes, we did bring home the Kettering championship.
And who is on your alliance, just so we can give proper
oh dear God,
recognition?
My number sense is gone right now. Give me a
strike zone
and strike zone from Lapeer and Saginaw, 5538.
Good job. That was was a good rapid reaction, Kyle.
That was really hard because awesome. I don't remember numbers.
That's okay. Names will work. They know who they are.
Yes.
Congratulations, Don. How did Team 1506 fare at Kettering Week 1?
We started out slow. We had a few issues in the first couple of matches, but the kids figured it out, found out what the issues were, corrected them, and we kept moving up, and we ended up in a 6th seed in the 6th spot and got picked up by the 3rd seed alliance captain. So out in the quarterfinal, out in the semifinals, unfortunately, but would have been good to go against Rush in the finals.
If you lost in the quarters, it's not too bad. Off 2 years of no robotics is what I'm saying, right?
Lost in the semis.
Semis. Sorry, semis. Air Code 404. How did you guys do over the weekend? I know, but tell everyone out there.
I would say we did pretty good from, like you said, not having 2 years of robotics. We definitely did have some troubles with our climber. We didn't prioritize it as much, but the great thing about having a week 1 event is we can learn, we can watch from other teams, get some advice, just get tips on how to make a better climber. And right now we're in the process of redesigning a climber for us. So that's really amazing.
So I will preface this. I'm not just saying this because my team's a 7,000 series team and we are rookies for the same year that 7226 was, but more 7,000 series teams took more awards home at Kelvin than anyone put together.
Yeah, I know, it was crazy. You know, when we were like at the award ceremony, I just kept hearing like 7,000. I was like, oh my gosh, is that us yet?
It's the new reckoning. I'm just kidding. I don't want to get beat up by Kyle and Don with their teams. So we're through the first week, right? There was week 0 events, right, where everyone was kind of figuring things out, and then week 1. Give us a hot take, Kyle, of what you saw at week 1. What was something that you knew that would work and something that really surprised you? Just a hot take on week 1.
Well, everybody goes out there at the beginning trying to get a feel for the field, to be honest with you. Still working on robots, making sure things work. One of the things that I think people didn't really think through was, I think that there were a lot more teams got the bonus by getting the 20, the hub challenge. Sorry. But I think that was a surprise. I don't think people thought that was going to be, I'm not going to say it was easy, but that it was easier than people thought. And, for us, one of the things we talked about was, we were going out for 2 points, 2 points, 2 points. And then I finally turned to my drive and strategy guys and said, we'll start that way. But if there is a point differential, we're just going to dump them into the lower goal just to get the bonus. And as soon as we're done, we went back to 2 points. So having that kind of strategy helped us to really diversify our shots on the field. There was not really any defense on us until the finals, as far as like super defense, and there was super defense. Kudos to 494 and Jay Tenbrick, because he always has something up his sleeve, and they came out just fired up with 2 defenders. They figured if they could stop and slow down our partners, strike zone and us, then, they might have a chance, because they knew that there was just too much ammo power out there. So they did a great job, and my drivers had some fun. It looked more like Robo Wars instead of, First Robotics in our finals. But it was wonderful because we got to give my kids some defense driving too, and the outcome was in our favor. So I kind of like that. So but I think that people really underestimated that bonus and that ranking point and the importance of that ranking point.
Don, do you agree? What was your hot take for week 1? Not just at Kettering, I'm just talking Rapid React entirely.
Yeah, it was, we were surprised at how quickly people were getting the 20, the 18 and the 20. That was our strategy, was to go for that right away. And I think certainly toward the end of the competition, we were executing that strategy well. I think there was a few times I think we got 16 to 18 balls in on our own, which we were honestly happy but surprised that it was working that well. And then the other thing was, I was amazed at how many high traversal climbs there actually were across, especially across all of week 1. I don't think anybody expected the scores to be as high as they actually were.
Yeah, I lost a bet, so I have to pay up on that one. Don't worry, it wasn't anything, too gratifying for the person, but I did lose a bet because we didn't see a 100-point score until playoffs at Kelvin. But Air Code 404, what did you guys think about week 1 at Kelvin University?
Yeah, I would definitely agree. We didn't expect to see so many of the 50-point climbers. Like, that was crazy to us. I feel like, in my opinion, there's like a good half of 15-pointers, and then you see a lot of the everybot climbers, which was really interesting. I really liked how people made a lot of these different strategies work. And yeah, it was just really interesting to watch, seeing how people's ideas like come into show.
We have to give it to 118. There had to been at least 10 everybots at Kelvin University, some experienced teams, some rookie teams. It was a well adapted to. There were some variations out there, but thanks to 118 for putting that out there, because they really helped the teams at least get to the point where they could compete for week 1. So we got to give kudos to them because they did an amazing job. Just a hot take from my point of view is I think people forgot that you could score low. there were so many high shooters that those balls were bouncing all around. And if you can scrape up and get those balls and put them right in the logo, that ranking point was always achieved. I think it was more achieved than not achieved across the entire qualification matches, no matter how many, and everyone could, even and every bot could, give that to that. But there were some 5-ball autons, and we did see it at Kelvin University. Got to give it out for 2075. Lights out. 5-ball auton. They deserved that award. It was amazing. So what was something that caught you really off guard? What was the one thing, Kyle, that you said, holy, that really happened in week 1? Was there one of those gotcha, moments?
I really don't think there was anything this past week. To be honest with you, I was so focused on what we were doing that I didn't spend a lot of time watching the other matches. I will say that my children were home while we were up at the tournament. And when we came home, I walk in and I hear 494 and I'm like, what is going on? They had it running in my great room for the dog while we were gone, and it was on replay. So I sat down and watched more matches in my living room than I did at the whole tournament because I could. But there really wasn't anything that just blew my mind this weekend. I guess maybe we were talking about hanging. I thought there would be a lot more diversity in the types of hangers. And what I really saw, numbers of teams would come up to us and say, did you see our prints? How did you do? Yours looks just like mine. I mean, 494 and us looked so identical. It was crazy. And they were in the pit next to us. We just kept looking at each other. But there was a lot of robots, I think, that looked a lot alike this weekend.
Don, do you agree with it? I mean, I can only tell, and I think 404 will tell me, there was a lot more diversity, I think, in our climbing apparatuses at Kelvin. We had one or two, what I call the gorilla lift, and that's the knuckle over knuckle, like a spinning. We had one or two of those. We might have taken one of those out in playoffs because they were too high to go up underneath the front, and we prevented them from climbing, and we went to semis because of it. But we had a lot of diversity there. Dom, what was one of those things that you saw that you went, wow, that really happened kind of situation?
There was a double traversal climb, which I really didn't expect to see week 1. I thought that was kind of crazy.
It couldn't catch you too off guard. They did it at Kettering week 0.
Yeah.
In the first match.
Yeah. It was crazy to see it that early.
Yeah.
It was, and even to get over 100 points, we got over to 100 points, relatively early in the weekend. So it was unusual. I thought this C scores go that that high, that quickly. We had a wide, Kettering one, and it usually is, there's a wide diversity of robots there, robot abilities, but there were, like Kyle said, there were a lot of similar robots.
Mm-hmm.
But it was in how they executed the designs was the wide variability.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if that's a little bit, maybe people reused some of their ideas from 2020 and just modified it for this game, because that would be easier to try to get ready for 2020, knowing your resources or knowing how many kids. Maybe you lost a lot of kids. You just did a modification to something that already worked. Maybe. I wasn't there, so I can't say.
We started out that way, reusing a lot of stuff from 2020, and quite frankly, we found it didn't work.
Okay.
So we totally redesigned our shooter, and we found pretty early on that you couldn't have any spin on that ball. So.
404, what do you guys think? What was the one thing that you caught you off guard and you saw something that really surprised you? Is there anyone out there, any specific robot or situation?
I would just say overall ball acquisition. I didn't see a lot of teams struggle with that. I didn't see a lot of mediocre intakes. I saw really if they were going for balls, a lot of the intakes this year worked really well.
They had to have guts. There were a lot of intakes that were broken this weekend, right? 404.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you remember that one match about that whole the whole intake system just fell off. I was like, oh, I feel so bad for the pit.
There are a lot of rapid react pit crews working in the pits
yeah.
when that happens. So
Mhm.
one thing that I wanted to touch on, and it was about the volunteers and the at least it us in 404, 70, 56 and 404 were at Calvin. It seemed very well run for a week one event. We didn't get very far behind. There were a couple field issues here and there, more on Saturday than there were on Friday, but it seemed like very smooth. Everyone was just like in a good mood, and it was a new event. It's never been at Calvin University before. It was also kind of cool because the whole main floor was just nothing but robot pits, and the field and all the scouting was done up at the top. So you didn't have to fight for a bad spot to scout. It was amazing. It was a great venue. Just putting that out there. Thank you for Calvin University for allowing us to come in there. It was amazing. But what did you see from the volunteer perspective? We talked, what would Woody do, Kyle, a couple of weeks ago. Did you see the spirit of Woody out there at Kettering?
So, yeah, we did actually. First of all, I think the volunteers were fantastic. And I think that Kettering ran a wonderful tournament. We got a little behind on Friday, but we made it up on Saturday morning. Yeah, so, last time I think we talked about the regionals and the state championships are going to have a t-shirt or a denim shirt that people can sign for Woody. Well, at Kettering, someone drew a picture of a shirt and people were putting their buttons on it and signing this piece of paper. And I thought that was really super. For the most part, I thought that everybody had the ethos right. I think what we all lacked was a level of spirit. And it came up, my team said it, and I talked to others, when the awards are going on, I don't think a lot of these teams knew that it was polite to stand up and cheer for someone who gets an award. And poor Team Russia is going up and down because I'm like, get up, because that's what we would always do, And so there was that spirit was something that I think will evolve as we go through the season. But a lot of teams lost a lot of people and they're starting over, and they didn't know that that's what you do. But I think the spirit improved over the weekend, but it started out a very quiet weekend. The MC and the people who were running the tournament always kept coming over to my team and saying, will you help us with this cheer, please? Will you help us with this, please? Because my kids will do just about anything you ask them to do. So they're really good kids. So the people at Kettering got to know Team Rush very well because, we were also a big chunk of the stands, but so I think that was, I probably a sixth maybe. So yeah, and our parents, because it's so close, our parents came and everybody came and alumni came. I mean, it was just an amazing weekend. But Kettering did a marvelous job running the tournament this week. It's probably, in my opinion, was one of the best run tournaments Kettering has had. And I've been to quite a few of them.
Thanks.
Oh yeah, we got to thank John and his staff. Yeah. And all the volunteers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don, what did you think about, was the spirit out there? Were people shaking the cobwebs off of 2 years of COVID and trying to figure out what it's really like to be back at an event again?
Yeah, I think it was exactly like Kyle said. Friday was quiet. And stands were maybe only half filled, which Friday's always a light day anyways, because half the kids are still in school and the parents are working. Sorry. I'm in the robo space and the lights automatically turn off.
Yeah, it did it to Clint too, so don't feel bad.
All right, feel better. But yeah, so Friday was quiet. Saturday it certainly ramped up more. And it was good to see the music change over, where they started playing a lot more dance music, and then the kids started getting into it with dance music and all that. So yeah, like I said, I'm biased, but Kettering has always run a good event. I mean,
what did you guys think? 404 was, you guys were the students on the field, and I don't know if you raise your hand, have you ever been to an event before? Can you raise your hand, the students? So you have. So are you guys juniors and seniors then, right?
Senior.
Okay, so you have been to an event. So was it like it was 3 years ago, or do you think it's starting to ramp up a little bit, and as the season goes on, people are going to get a little more excited about it?
I definitely think that Friday was a lot quieter than it was on my second competition, our last competition before COVID. it definitely got quieter, but we did talk to our team and, we got them like more like excited about the competition. We showed them more cheers and stuff. We got them all riled up in the crowd, and it was a lot better by Saturday. Everybody was cheering.
Yeah, we definitely prepared our team for cheering. Like, we made sure to tell our team, like, this is what a first robotics competition is like. Think of it as like maybe like the Super Bowl or something. It's a lot of energy, and I didn't feel that much energy from the crowd, but it's been like 2 years. It's totally normal, but then it definitely picked up. I feel like we were pushing a lot of that energy when it came to cheering.
No, it might come up because of the size, right? Calvin University was a very large venue where
Yeah.
you weren't right next. You had enough room to span out multiple teams. So it may have been one of those venue things too. Kettering is also a very large venue. So it's something that if people restricted how many kids they brought, you may not have that energy as things, keep going. And we won't talk about masks, but hopefully that mandate is eliminated at some point in the future, just so that I can breathe easier as behind the glass. Cause I thought I was going to hyperventilate at one time. That's just a joke. I wasn't going to hyperventilate.
I think the masks keep the volume down too. So we talked about that as a team, because this is the first event that our drive team ever told us that they couldn't hear us in the stands. Like, that's something we strive for. We'll ask our drive team, hey, can you hear us? And the answer's always been a resounding yes. And there were a couple times where we were going nuts in the stands and they were still like, yeah, we didn't hear you.
Oh, I heard you. You guys were 40 strong. I heard you. Time to take the earplugs out.
No.
Maybe they're doing safety. Maybe they got the safety earplugs in. Just saying. I heard you. You guys came off the bus. I heard you. That's not a bad thing. I'm glad that the volunteers enjoyed themselves. Thank God field reset was a lot easier. We could run things a lot faster. It was just running match after match after match after match. I heard Kettering had a couple glitches with some sensors in the top of the hub. I'm glad you guys got that resolved, right, John?
Well, they had some software issues. I think everybody had to download some updated software and stuff for the field. And there were 2 sensors on the hub that they kept having issues with and going up and kind of recalibrating a little bit. But, we had, with Alex and Amanda FTAs, they're both very experienced FTAs. They did a great job keeping the field going. And in week 1, you always have connectivity issues. We expect that. The good thing about that was we didn't have 40 teams. That's good and bad, but that makes it easier and less matches you have. So yeah, the volunteers did a great job and everything. But I have a strategy question to ask. So from what you learned on this first event, I saw a few matches where people went to climb with 19 out of 20 or 18 out of 20 or 17 out of 8 for 18 for the balls in the to get the rank point from the hub. And when you're really looking for the rank point, and you can still get a 10 hang real quick, right? So you have 4, 6, you can get up to the 10 without needing to go up to the traversal. How do you see that, or are you looking at that in any different ways? Because you can still get both rank points. I was surprised at how many 4 rank point matches there were in week 1. And I also was surprised how many there could have been from people going over. Just some thoughts on it.
So I'll go first. I think it depends. I think you're right. There were only 1 or 2 matches I saw that were off by 1 point or maybe 2 points. I think it depends on the level of the climbers that you have in the set of teams that are at your event. If you have a bunch of traversals is going to win, right? It's just a point. It's a point spread. So, but you only need 1 traversal to go up and 1 other robot to get the ranking point. So I think the strategy is going to be that the alliance says, we're going to go up traversal, you go up mid, and everyone else just, the third bot keeps scoring till you hit that 20, because you got then a 4 ranking point, match. At least that's my perspective. What's yours, Kyle?
Well, there was only one time I made a mistake on that, but, and we didn't get that RP, but if you can get that, you get the automatic, I mean, that's a for sure. As opposed to someone dropping off of the pipe, which we did a couple times, or someone gets in the way, or, so that you can, if you can control that, and there's still 30 seconds left in the match and you need 3, depending on how long that's going to take you. I mean, those are things you got to look into account. For us, I would dump 3 into the low goal and then go see how fast I could climb. But then at least I'm guaranteed that 1 ranking point, assuming I'm going to get the win. If I'm not going to get the win, then I need both of them, and that becomes a little bit more difficult.
How about you, Don?
Yeah, we were always playing to get the cargo ranking point. And we chose and told our alliances, we'll stay out and make sure we get it. And there was a couple times where we got it in the last, there's one match, we got it, the ranking point in the last second. So we threw that ball in at the last second to get the ranking point. And
Nice.
our climb to the mid was reliable. Our climb higher than that was not. We figured out why, but we couldn't correct it at the event. So,
How about you, Air Code 404? What do you guys think? I know Jack's not there with you. He's your drive coach. I know he'd have this answer. I'm just saying, I know Jack because we didn't grow up. We grew up together in first. How about that?
Oh,
I
nice.
would say this is a pretty, I think I heard this come out of Jack's mouth this weekend, is, we once we go back to the fact that we just didn't have the resources to do a climb and a shooter, and we prioritized our shooter. And I wouldn't say that we regretted that, but when it came to that ranking point, there were times we regretted it. And then because we only had the 6-point shooter, there was a lot of times where we said, hey, we'll stay out and we're going to keep shooting. And it doesn't do us any good to climb, either because we didn't have enough robots to get that, or because we said, man, we really want that point. Let's get that point.
So, because John asked this question, I have the next strategy question. How big is defense going to be going forward? Because defense was not played for the most part until playoffs. But once playoffs hit, it was battle bots. There were robots running around rampant, smacking each other. I'll name one team, the fastest team I saw on the field. It wasn't the fast team. It was 1023. That driver was driving the wheels off those swerve modules. He was the fastest driver out there. It took maybe a second and a half to reach from one side to the other. And defense is big. So what do you think, Kyle? Is that going to be more of a thing going forward?
Oh, yeah, because I think once people start showing their colors and they're doing well, they're going to get the infamous target on their back to start off. That's a pride right if you can stop someone who's been doing well. I think that, to be honest with you, we just started back after 2 years, and a lot of people sat and waited. We were the guinea pigs this weekend. We were the ones that went out and got to start the process. And so now everyone's like, okay, all right. So I do think, yes, you have to play defense. And, our first finals match, when the defense with Jay Tenbrick, love Jay, when they started they literally were trying to take out 2 of our robots. It's interesting because our intake broke also. And so I kind of giggled because they're defending us and they didn't know we couldn't shoot a ball anyway. So I just used them as a block so that, our partners could get around on the field. And we tried to draw it out and pull it away from the other team, making it look like we were going up to set up for a shot and there was going to be no shot coming out. But so yeah, I think the defense is going to get much worse. And that's something our drivers are going to be working on because, when our intake broke, the only thing we could do was to play defense. And so we were very ironically playing defense on our defender somehow. Actually, I just broke away and I said, get all over Martians, because if we can't do anything, we'll at least slow them down at their own game. So, but they played a remarkable, finals matches. They never gave up. And I just really give them a lot of credit.
Mr. Ridge, How big is defense going to be doing? First of all, let's just say all of us here, we're week oneers. We should get a special pin for going out week one and teaching everyone else, because we put so much stress on our teams to get ready for week one that we should get a special pin. There should be pins. John, go make pins for us next year. Don, how do you think defense is going to go forward?
I think defense will play a significant part in this game. We had at one point in I think it was the quarterfinals, it was 2 robots on us to stop us from shooting. And you know, they couldn't stop us from shooting because we learned in 2020 how defense was adversely affecting us. So we vowed never to let that happen again. So this was, you know, so we designed a robot to go for that. But getting balls was hard. Getting enough balls to shoot, that became the difficult part.
There are a lot of. Go ahead.
I was going to say, 494's Alliance also picked up balls if they weren't going to be shooting, and they picked up our balls. So when 4 of those balls are missing, it makes it even that much harder to find balls to pick up and shoot.
I call that a Clinton Bollinger special edition.
I laughed at it. I'm looking all over the field and I'm like, where are the balls? And then I started laughing in the middle of the match and I'm like, oh, they got 2 right in there and they got 2 right over there. So I told my kids, I was like, just forget about them, just get more. So
starvation.
Is a real strategy.
How about you, Air Code 44? What do you think? Defense? Yes, no, maybe?
Yeah, I think defense will be huge. Just like you said, we definitely saw more in the playoffs when we were choosing that 3rd pick. We were line 7. We were definitely going for more of a defense spot, and it was really interesting because like I've never never been on the field to help pick another alliance, and so kind of learning more about the strategy was really interesting to me. And I think defense is pretty good. It shows like it really helps out like when your intake breaks, for example, what do? Just become a defense spot, you know?
But you guys could design I'm just saying, if you have a passive intake that's not outside your bumpers, you don't have to worry about breaking it. Just saying. Just saying. Just a hot take.
I did see some great passive intakes this week that really made me kind of stop and look. And you know, I think there were 2 or 3 that I liked a lot. And the fast was definitely one of those. I liked comments a lot as well. Those 2 really stood out to me. And I said, wow, that's a cool way to think this through. Because our team definitely really was stuck on the regular old intake and it worked well for us, but it's fun ways to see that problem solved.
Right. So I would be remiss if we didn't at least recognize the Chairman's Award winners from Kettering Week 1. Who is the award winner for Kettering Week 1? Do you guys know?
Titanium Tigers, 51-14.
Yep.
Well, congratulations to them. And we will announce that it was 1023 Bedford Express that won it at Calvin. Always, always, always. That's something my team, and I think every 7,000 series team is now wanting to try to get ready for and strike. That's one where we can compete with you guys. Not that we can't compete with you guys on the field. I'm saying in the classroom trying to get that award. And let's see some 7,000 series teams going to Worlds on Chairman's Award winner. I think we'll see that in the future. I'll bet on that one. Don, you want to bet on that one?
Sure, I'll take it.
Okay. Well, you owe me lunch or I'll owe you lunch, one of the 2, but it's documented now. So we've been here for 33 minutes. We got to get ready for our next. I think Don, you're in week 2.
Yes, we are.
Are you suffering from the same type of delusion that Clinton Bollinger did 2 years ago?
It must be contagious.
It was successful for him. Let's see if it's as successful for you guys. That's a lot of pressure. I couldn't do that. I have a lot of respect for you though.
Our robot held up really well, so we're
good.
We're confident.
So as you guys sign out, please tell us again who you're from, how we can follow your team. We're going to start with you, Kyle.
You know, next time I'm on, I'm last. You make me first all the time.
I like to challenge you, Kyle. You challenge me all the time. It's fun.
But I can think better answers if you put me at the end. Kyle Hughes, Team Rush, Team 27. You can see us on YouTube, Facebook, By the way, I do want to give a shout out to our reveal video. I think it is one of the sweetest out there. And so it's on YouTube and it came out on Thursday and over 7,000 hits already since Thursday. It's pretty
Wow.
amazing. Yeah,
Does
it's pretty amazing.
Does it have 80s hairband music as a soundtrack?
Just you go watch it. You go watch it. Tell
I'll
me
go
what you
watch
think.
yours if you go watch mine. How about
All right,
that?
I'll do that. I'll do
right.
that.
You're up
So
next.
yeah,
You're up next, Don.
All right, Don Ridge, Team 1506, Metal Muscle. You can find us on team1506.com.
And air code 404, you're bringing up the rear.
Yep, so we are Team 7226, Lansing, Michigan, Air 44. Our Twitter and Instagram is Wavo_robotics. And on Facebook, you could just search for Waverly Robotics and website waverlyrobotics.org. And we hope we can compete with all of these teams, especially your guys's, in the future. Thank you so much for having us. This has been a pleasure.
Week 4 is a real thing. Lansing's going to be amazing. It's going to be better than States or
Oh, yeah.
Milford.
We're gonna be ready to rock.
Mhm.
John, as you sign out, is there anything going on at Kettering other than week 2 competitions where we can come watch like Don play? Well, what?
I'll be in
Well,
Rochester.
Don's
I'll be
in Rochester.
Oh, you'll be at Roch. Oh, you're not even okay. That's okay. I'll give you 2. But what's going on at Kettering week 2? John.
Well, I mean, we're just getting ready for it. The good thing is we don't have to put up field this week, which gives us a little bit of a break. The bad thing is we got to take field down Saturday, but we'll be ready. I assume that with most of the issues resolved, that we'll be on time or ahead of time. And I can't wait to see the differences that we see, and it's going to be fun. Keep watching. If you are not competing in week 2, you should be watching the events out there for week 2 to learn everything you can, take in everything you can, have your kids practice scouting on watching matches and stuff like that. I don't see why you wouldn't at least have your scouting team watching all the matches and stuff like that.
That one team was at Calvin University. I said,
Which one team?
That one team. Yeah, very good. It's like we feed each other, that was a good segue. But they were there in mass. And I said, that's amazing. Kyle, I promise the next time you're on the podcast, I'll ask you to go last. Okay.
thank you.
Kyle, what event do you go to next?
We're going to Pittsburgh next week and then we
Oh,
come back.
really?
Yeah, and then we're going to come back 2 weeks later and go to Troy. Yeah.
I'll be watching a little bit of Pittsburgh. Good
Yeah,
luck.
that'll be interesting.
It'll be very
Don,
interesting.
good luck.
With the district, it's going to be, or the regional, like Thursday was always on bag day. So
Oh,
with no on bag day, I mean, are we going to be all just practice all day Thursday, which would be amazing. So I'm hoping that that's what the plans are.
well, good
Oh,
luck
that's
to
cool.
all the teams. And I'll see air code 404 2 weeks from Thursday.
Where are you going to be?
Lansing.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you for coming on board. Go get some rest. And we'll see you guys pretty soon.
We can rest after the season's over.
You had the day off, John. Shh, you can't talk. We had to work today.
It's my only day.
I know. Thank you guys for stopping by. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
See you guys.
Thanks, guys.